I'd like to move to the next item, which is the governing body schedule for the next 3 years. So you now know where you are. We'll all be booking our Christmas holidays in a certain time of the year and our midterm break at exactly the same time of the year. And I think you've obviously laboured hard to accommodate this within the calendar. Would you like to address us, Mr. Kempen and Mr. Sandra with an R?
Yeah, Your Worship, just
worked hard to produce
put
this.
it on the table, I'll move.
I'll second.
And you've got a mover and seconder for this, Your Worship.
Thank you for putting it on the table. We've got a mover and a seconder. That's excellent. Have we got those ones? Yes, and now I still want Sandra with an R to explain this. She has worked long and hard here for this.
Through the chair, kia ora koutou. This is a 3-year meeting schedule which has generally been put into a pattern that gives visibility to both members, staff and the public so that there is an opportunity for everybody to forward plan their calendars. The frequency of the meetings has already been agreed to in the terms of reference that you did last week. Generally, the smaller committees will be held on Tuesdays, workshops on Wednesdays, and governing body and the committee of the whole on Thursdays. We have included the CCO Direction and Oversight Committee in that, as we feel with CCOs coming to report that more time may be needed. There are some meeting breaks that have been planned around public holidays as much as possible, but this has not always been feasible. There is a longer break over the Christmas period. I've taken into consideration the CCO board meetings. There are some instances where subcommittee meetings of those may clash. We've tried hard to avoid those clashes, but the sheer number of these meetings means that that has not always been possible. There are some further joint and co-governance meetings which need to be added to the schedule, and they will be done as soon as we get membership. The ability for us to make minor changes has been included in the recommendation, which will include consultation with the relevant chair and the mayor or deputy mayor should we need meetings on a Monday or a Friday. Steve and I are happy to take partai.
Are there any questions? Councillor Darby?
Just one thing I note, there's a presumption here that workshops would be online, like mainly online. And I'm concerned about that, Mr. Mayor. I mean, workshops, it's not about just looking at the screen and participating. It's actually having, a number of conversations during the workshop, before the workshop, side conversations. It's like, that's where you really build your information base. And I would be really concerned if we, use the COVID world as an excuse as to why we can be less informed. So, Steve, maybe I'm really wrong on that, but why is there a presumption? I think it's in paragraph
Very good question, Steve.
13.
Yes, I can answer that through you, Mr. Mayor. We did have a lot of good feedback last term with workshops being online. We are obviously in a slightly different world now with post-COVID. I guess the assumption is that we can utilise all our technology by having workshops online, and that might be the default, but there is no reason why, if there are certain topics or things that need to be discussed in person, that those workshops could be arranged in person. And we're really happy to work with the GA and the chair of that committee, depending on what the workshop is for. If it's more appropriate that it happen in person, then that can definitely be arranged. We're not precluding that from happening whatsoever.
So then can I assume that the workshops are actually formal in the room workshops, but there is the opportunity to join online rather than it is an online workshop?
There will always be the opportunity for people to attend electronically, either our workshops or committees, and it will always be the case.
I think it's a very good question. We were just fitting the calendar rather than that detail. But I imagine there'll be some form of compromise that where the people the chair and deputy of whichever committee is asking for a workshop will make a decision as to which way they want to hold it. There are times when the workshops are more suited to online, and there are other times when, exactly what you said, we need a good old discussion about it where we might front up. But there will be the opportunity for those that are perhaps only partially interested to show online. So let's not assume that they're all going to be one or the other, and I think we'll allow for pragmatic solutions to be guided by the chairs and deputies of committees calling those. Is that a fair solution for everybody? Excellent question, thank you, Councillor Darby. Councillor Turner?
No, you've covered it, Mr Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Filipina?
Your Worship, no pātai, just a whakaaro, if that's okay, as in comment. Your Worship, the reason that both myself and Councillor Dalton moved and seconded this is because we want to acknowledge the mahi that Sandra, you, your team, Steve, not only have done in the term of this Auckland Council, but also in the next 3 years of this council. So just to you, to your governance staff, to Phil, just want to, both of us, and I'm sure this committee just wants to say thank you so much for the work that we know you will be putting in. So Sandra, ngā mihi ki a koe, ngā mihi ki a koe is Steve, and ngā mihi ki a koe te katoa. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Councillor. Okay, I'm going to put this vote now. All those in favour of adopting the 3-year diary, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no, it's carried. Thank you very much. I agree with Councillor Filipina. This is not easy to do, and there was a lot of effort and jiggering around. It involved quite a lot of us. Thanks very much for that. The next item is the summary of governing body and other committee information, memoranda and briefings. Moved by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by Councillor Fletcher. Can we just go ahead and adopt this, please? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, carried. There are no extraordinary items, and I declare the meeting closed, and I'd like to thank you all for your excellent contributions in what has been a sobering day following the announcement of the central bank's move. Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Filipine?
Your Worship, I wanted to grab this opportunity, and I don't want to be online. I wanted to grab the opportunity, Your Worship, if you want to get an update of the